Thanks for staying with us. On the Women We Love segment today, we have the founder and CEO of Strategic Solutions Consulting, LLC. For more than 10 years, she has designed, developed, and implemented new programs and ideas to help businesses succeed. She has also consulted internationally to provide fresh ideas and strategic guidance to companies to support their desired outcomes. Welcome with us, Nancy Taye Aragbaye.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're
I
welcome.
greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. So why did you decide to develop a program to empower Nigerian women? Why?
Yes.
What's your reason?
Number one, I am a Nigerian American, and I thought deeply about me as a Nigerian woman in America. What is my purpose here? It's not by chance. And so I thought about how can I connect my work specifically back to my country? And I realized that there was a desperate need for women to be in positions of leadership and also be empowered. Because if we're talking about truly bridging the wealth gap, bringing income to families, then women have to be in positions to be empowered, to generate income, to be in positions of leadership, and also make decisions, because we naturally have this multiplier effect. So that was my reason.
Awesome.
So I'm all for women empowerment. Have a project that is, I've always had projects that we shall talk about would work with women, because I feel that we shape the society on many levels.
Yes.
And you've been here for a while. How has your experience? How has that experience been engaging with the Nigerian businesswoman? And what do you see as the resource that is lacking that you feel you're empowered to
help them.
So that's a really great question. I like to tell people I've been an educator for many years, and I noticed a gap in the system in the U.S., but I also realized that the gap is even wider here in Nigeria. And so when I think about empowerment and I think about leadership, it's something that should actually be taught in our education system, but it's not. And so the need for leadership development is very critical. You may have a business, but do you know how to effectively lead your business? You may be in a position of leadership or a decision maker, but do you truly know what it means to serve? Do you have empathy for individuals? And that is a skill, and it's a skill that's missing, and that's why we end up seeing so many issues. We don't have understanding. And so for me, I think it's critical, and it's urgent. We need programs that will develop individuals to have those skill sets so they can lead effectively and make proper decisions.
So, you know, problems are local and solutions also should be. I appreciate that, you know, it has to be, your solutions that you have just proposed now are long educated lines, so it has to be taught and learned. But there are a plethora of women in Nigeria, particularly now, that are largely uneducated. They live in communities where they don't, the only way they know how, you know, it's almost like, you know, they're helpless. How do you then bring a solution of empowerment from your space to such women? How do you teach such women to do better? What exactly would you be doing, you know, to bring them out of poverty into wealth?
So I think that's a very great question. I'm glad you asked. When I look at the issue of empowerment, I look at it from a spectrum. And so there's different degrees of empowerment. You have those who aren't educated at all and who feel hopeless. And so for me, it's like, how do we work backwards? So how do I take women now who maybe have a business, and maybe have just a little bit of hope, but they need some development? And so I start there, and then from there, it kind of just trickles down, and we start to reach backwards. But my ultimate vision is to have programs. Education is the key. Education is a reflection of the entire state. And so we have to think creatively. It's not just about math and science and reading. How are you developing educational programs around leadership? What are our mentoring programs looking like? And so I've always been a person, we can't wait for change. We can't wait for government. You have to be the change. I am change. You are change. Together we are change. And so for me, how do we empower business leaders to come together to start designing these programs? Once we see that it works and that there's a solution, then we have our government that will say, okay, I see what they're doing. They can also support. And so I just know that as a business owner, as CEOs, we have power. We're the ones that have the power to create jobs. So we truly have to design our programs. And I think it starts in the private sector. And we create these educational programs and then it'll pick up.
That's awesome. So I know that you have empowered over so many women with over 40 million naira. And I'm asking myself, how did you get the funding for this? Who funds you? Who gives you that help?
That's a really great question. So I used to be the director of a nonprofit, and so fundraising, it's a beautiful thing. I say I don't ask for money. I ask for people to join a cause. Be a part of something powerful. And so the women that I brought from the diaspora to join me on this leadership retreat, they were a big part of the fundraising campaign. So we ran an individual giving campaign, and we were able to raise a significant amount of funds. Me personally, I also invested my own personal funds, but my vision came from God. And what I knew for sure is that I might be investing my own personal funds today, but I know once we create the results, then people will join the movement and they'll be able to support strategic solutions.
Awesome.
Okay, so I like the flow of the conversation. I also strongly feel that there are a lot of things that Nigerian women would achieve if they actually were limitless, because Nigerian women have done a whole lot, even with the lack of resources, because they are resourceful. And so if they are now given more resources to help them achieve much more, they would go far. When you say you're capturing business women and educating them to expand, because we had a short conversation before the show started, and you said, oh, Nigerian, you brought in people from diaspora to expand the business thoughts. What are your expansion, what are the expansions, what are the testimonies you have so far from the trainings you've done? What are the kind of strategies they are working on and the businesses, that, what are you feeling proud of so far?
Very short example, this week alone, so I had about 10 women from the diaspora. They told me that they were transformed. Transformed. And that's a powerful word. And so that is what I mean by empowerment. So my programs that I design are specifically to change the mind of an individual, pulling out that power within them. You have to know who you are. But I think sometimes with all of the day-to-day, the problems that are going on, you have a husband, you might have children, you actually don't sit and reflect on who you are.
True.
So I had the program, and we did some, we had some time to reflect. And just that testimony alone, I am transformed. I can't wait to go back so I can tap into my superpower. So that's what my programs are doing for women, unleashing the superpower that they have within them.
I like that. So are you location specific? Because Nigeria is big. You want to empower Nigerian business women. What locations are you looking at? Or is it open to everybody in Nigeria?
So it's open, let me say that.
Okay.
I want to empower all of Nigeria. Okay. But we started specifically in Lagos just for logistical purposes, as far as the pitch competition and the women who came. But as far as my programs, a lot of what we'll be offering is virtual. So it's truly open to all of Nigeria. But again, we have to cap it at a certain amount of women for the leadership development. But over time, it will be for all of Nigeria.
Interesting conversation. But this is women we love, so let's talk about you.
Yeah.
I love your skin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you do have a beautiful skin.
Thank
The
you
tone is
so
just
much.
perfect.
So I love. So how do you keep it all together? What do you do? What's the routine?
I'll tell you the secret. No, I'm health conscious. I think it's important to watch what you eat. I think it's important. I drink so much water. The water is the secret. And my mother, she's on me all the time about making sure I wash my face.
So,
we have to follow in this conversation with our guest, and they're saying, Onwubete says they need to add ethics and principles in school curriculum of how to be independent from an early age, so that they can be more productive. And Good Beat says, he hopes you leave your contact. I hope she leaves her contact, so he's talking to you.
So I wanted to ask you about the pitch. You know, I know there was a group of people that came, there was a pitch. What was the process about? What were the interesting ideas that you heard? And somebody, probably your next edition, what would it be about so that they can join in? How can they get more information?
Yes, so we had quite a few ideas. We had legal services that were offered at a very reduced cost. We had some health business and logistics as well. Well, a beautiful thing, and what I know for certain, is that love spreads, collaboration spreads, and empowerment spreads. And on Monday, women came for a competition, but you could see the collaboration and the unity that was present. And that made me happy. And not only did I offer services, but there were women in the crowd who also offered additional services to ensure that they were supported and got what they needed. And that's very important. As far as the next competition, we want to make sure that we test our programming. So the women that are currently in the program, we're going to do a one-year tracking. Every 3 months, quarterly updates to make sure that it's not just me saying something. I believe in my program, but is it truly effective? So we'll track it quarterly. So I would say next year would be the opportunity to join the program. And my goal is to double it on my own. But if we get the proper sponsors and we get the proper support, I mean,
it will be massive.
It's limitless, right?
So what are some of the criteria that you deploy in choosing the businesses you empower?
So coachable. The woman has to be coachable. So when we looked at their CV and we looked at the reason why they wanted to be at the program, you can see elements of the why. Is it for service or are you just trying to make money? For me, I've always said, as a business owner, if you chase money, you'll be chasing money forever.
Yes.
But if your vision and your idea is for impact...
Let that sink in. If you chase money, you'll be chasing money forever.
If you chase money, you'll be chasing money forever. That's a very true statement. If you chase impact, the income is inevitable. Impact is about solving a problem. When you solve someone's problem, they will continuously come to you. So we're able to assess the idea. And then also another key was scalability. Is your program or your business idea you being self-employed? I'm not interested in self-employment. I'm interested in building a movement. I'm interested in creating jobs. And so I'm able to see your business idea and can see the potential of how many people can you employ within 1 year. And so that was the criteria that we went through.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nancy Taye Aragbaye, for coming on the show.